Are the Jets making a mistake? Are they screwing it all up? We'll find out on the Wacky Wednesday show live.
I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today, you can't get rid of him.
Right, it's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
Right on the smacker. I would, and I'd still give Joe Douglas a big kiss right on the smacker. So we had some people in here before. We had Nolte and Mo Dean talking it up in the chats, and we got Jets Mess and Skills Baby, Aunt Jets 82, all in the chat, ready to go. There's a bunch of you watching already. I appreciate you being here so soon. What's going on, Skills Baby? Good to see you. Let's get the show started, but we can't start the show without this guy. So let's get it going. He went on a rant a couple of days ago. He wasn't happy with what the Rangers did. He was cheered up a little bit by the New York Knicks. But he's not happy with what happened today to the New York Mets. It's the roller coaster life of a New York sports fan. A hot dog eating, YouTube content providing, trivia questioning, asking, greatest co-host in the world. Y2K99.
You setting records tonight with that, man. Man, oh man. Yeah, there's like pop singers who like to be able to hold a note that long. That was a stellar one right there. Well, you know what? After all the months of speculation, wondering, all the mock drafts, all the analysis, all of it, now we know what this team, generally speaking, is going to look like, and the moves just keep on coming. Despite all the moves made at the draft, all the new talent acquired, you know, a lot of those players, a lot of people saying, well, those are developmental players. These aren't players for the now. The Jets are a win now team. So now what do? They go out and they get a defensive tackle and a wide receiver, both in their 30s. And now the Jets are getting players that are too old. Can we have some balance here, ladies and gentlemen? What are we doing here? Anyway, I am thrilled to death to see you. I know we weren't able to do the show last week, so I'm extra excited to do this one tonight. But, you know, this is such a big show that I think we need to add a little more fuel to the fire. Do you have any ideas how we could do that?
Yeah, I think we need some attitude.
Attitude. I agree.
I think we need some Italian attitude. So I think
I don't bring enough of that already. What's the matter with you?
No, we need some more Italian attitude. We need to bring in the pizza eating, the ravioli eating, the pezzi eating, the manicotti eating, the chicken cutlet parmesan making, the pizza loving,
the bruschetta topping,
train riding, the hand waving like this in the air, the New York YouTube content provider out of St. Louis. Please welcome the greatest Italian Jets fan in the world, Jets fan.
Oh, that was awesome, man. That was awesome.
Well, that's all
What's
the
up,
time
guys?
we have for tonight. We can't top the
It's like a I'm in and then I'm out right after that.
We should just end the show right now.
Probably so. Yeah. Hank, thanks for the love on the one thing I've learned from Hank G, really, people love to watch me suffer. That's what I've learned. The videos that get the most views are the ones under 1 minute long. I got 1,200 views on a freaking Randall Cobb video, for crying out loud. And the ones where I just go off screaming. So people want me to keep it brief, or if I go long, they want me to shout. So you go where the views are, I guess. But I appreciate you watching. So
we started the show. I put the title of the show, the title of the show is like, are the Jets messing things up? Are the Jets making a mistake? Right. And, of course, that's just clickbait. Gets people to
yeah.
What's he talking about? Like, what do you mean the Jets are making a mistake? I want to point out something that Matt O'Leary already pointed out. I was thinking it, but I don't want to, he made it very clear in the video, so it's crazy not to mention his name. If you look at the signings of the former Green Bay Packers, from bringing in Aaron Rodgers, the only former Green Bay Packer that we brought in that is playing a significant role is Andy Lazard. So the other guys that we're bringing in are role players. The team is not based on them, right? Randall Cobb is what, WR5, maybe WR4?
Right.
And today we bring in a defensive tackle, Woods, who is a guy just a senior guy, 12, 13 years experience, run stuffing type guy. We're not paying him millions and millions of dollars. We're not relying on him as a key piece. So the rest of the league could sit there and say, oh, look, they're adding on all the other Green Bay Packers. Look what Rodgers is doing to the team. But the reality is, is it really a big deal, or is it actually more beneficial that we're bringing in experienced guys that know the system? What do you guys think?
You know what? Even with the addition of Randall Cobb, I saw a stat. The average Jets position player is 25 years old on offense. We have built this. We talked for years about building this team up the right way through the draft, through making wise moves in the draft, and you use the free agents to supplement it once you have the core in place. This is the next step of that. That's what we've seen over the last month. And now that we're at the point in free agency where the comp pick formula no longer applies, now that's why they went out and got the guys that they did at the time that they got them. There are, at this point, you guys know, I was talking about defensive tackle for months. I was very worried about the depth there. Now, we have basically, I guess our idea was to completely raid the Seattle Seahawks defensive line. So, fine with me. But you have one who more specializes as a pass rusher in Jefferson, and you've got one who specializes in the run defense in Al Woods. I still think, when I think about the trademark Jets plays from last season, one of the first plays that I think about on the negative end is that first play against Seattle at Lumen Field when Kenneth Walker zigzagged in and out of the defensive line through the linebackers in the secondary. And let's be honest, deep down in your heart, even the most positive Jet fan out there knew this team was done. They had nothing left, and that first run did it. And to me, I always felt there was something about I'm like, they could be stopping the run a little bit better. Like, we try to get these defensive tackles to do a little bit of everything. Now we're doing a more of a specialized thing next to Quinnen. So I'm very interested how Robert Saleh is going to use these players. But to me, both moves made a lot of sense. And we'll talk specifically more about Cobb, his role, and what this wide receiver room is going to look like, because it's going to take some time to do that. But at this point, if you want to get a safety like a John Johnson, by all means, please do so. But there is one other pivotal move this team has to make over the course of the offseason, and that's extending number 95. If they do nothing else but re-sign number 95, I will be one very happy Wat2K99.
Yeah, I think it's definitely time for the extension. But go ahead, G.
No, way to come off swinging there, Y2K. Yeah, for me, I I love Al Woods. He is 36 years old. He is a little bit older, but I'm totally okay with it. I love what him and Jefferson bring to the D tackle. They did really well with Seattle, and I think he's going to fit the system nice. I know they still like to change guys out all the time because that's just what they do with Olbrook and Salah. But I'm with Y2K. Extend 95, and I think it's going to happen. I just have this feeling it's not going to happen in May. I think it's going to happen more like June, July. And I think getting Quan back at linebacker, and I want Rodney McLeod for safety. I think that would be a good option. He was really solid with the Eagles. He had a good year with the Colts, and I think that would be a little bit of a boost. Johnson's cool, but those are my 3 wish lists for now. Cobb, he's going to be a really good mentor to Hardman. I think that's going to work out really nicely. And you can even use Cobb as a step up to Barrios as a punt returner, kick returner. I think it'll work out nicely.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got a number of guys who could do the returning at this point.
Yeah.
3-4 guys.
It's really weird. The first time in a long time I've seen this.
Yeah, between Bam Knight,
McCole Hardeman.
Right. And now you got Cobb.
And I think one of the draft guys one of the later, maybe it was the cornerback, I believe, who has some return experience.
Converse.
It might have been Converse. I think they might move him to safety, but I think he's got some.
Yeah.
I know they drafted at least one guy, so it was probably maybe Israel.
I watched the highlight of Israel.
Izzy,
I watched the highlight of him returning a kickoff for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think like him a lot.
I think my nickname for this guy is going to be, because his last name sounds so much like Anaconda, I'm just going to call him the Snake. You just give me that slithery running back. So to me, I'm going to call Izzy the Snake.
And the Brooklyn boy. The Brooklyn boy.
There you
That's
go.
Right. He went to the same high school as my dad.
Oh, wow.
Which was right near Spumoni Gardens, as you pointed out. I'm like, I heard you say that. I'm like, only Jeremy would do that. Well, that is the ultimate Jeremy random fact.
But he mentioned it in an interview. That was why. It was actually the interviewer who I said that interviewer is me if I made it as a sportscaster on TV. Because one of the things the guy was on the Jets channel. He's interviewing him, and he said he asked him about his favorite pizza, then he said to him, have you ever been to L&B Spumoni Gardens? Your high school's not so far from there. Wow. And Izzy laughed and said, our coach took us there. So I had been there, and I just thought that was funny.
Smart coach. I hope he appreciates the veal Parmesan hero like you do. It is more than just pizza, after all.
Yeah, when you grow up in Brooklyn and you grow up with Italians, and your best friend's Italian, you grow up in an Italian world, and you go to a place, I know they're famous for their Sicilian pizza. I went there my whole life, but I'm coming from California, so I'm not just missing pizza. So I had to get a veal cutlet Parmesan hero. But the brilliance of it is that I knew somebody would see it and want to go in with me. And of course, Green Bean saw me over on a different line by the restaurant line. Said, "What are you doing, man?" And I said, "I'm getting a veal cutlet Parmesan hero." And he said, "Ooh." And I said, "Do you want to split it? And I get some of your square pizza." And he's like, "Yeah, man." So me and Green Bean split a veal cutlet Parmesan hero and split pizza. So we got the best of both worlds.
I just think it was really funny how his dad was like, anybody but the Giants. He's staying home. He's staying home.
He's staying home.
I love it. I love it. Reminds me of Rutgers' dad last year.
Yeah. I just posted the Rangers video since there's a few people talking about it. For those who haven't seen, after the show's over, save it to your watch later on YouTube and go and check that out. If you like the angry side of me, you will definitely enjoy it. And if you don't like the New York Rangers, you'll love it even more. What else can I say?
Rusty Spooner's here. Did we get any of Rusty Spooner's diamonds?
I don't even know what the only one I knew of was Jared Patterson. I didn't know of any of his other diamonds.
Oh, okay. Because this is a real bummer that we can't see him. We got to fix this. But let me know, Rusty. People will tell me, so just answer because they could see you. So let me know if there are any players that we drafted that you love.
Yeah, I'll be checking the chat. That's no problem. Oh, Jacob Finnegan's here. How you doing, Jacob? The man whose takes I always agree with.
I was just talking to Jacob Finnegan not so long ago.
Yeah,
on Green Beans Patreon. So he was very calm today. We had a very calm, very reflective and thoughtful Jacob Finnegan.
A reflective, thoughtful Jacob Finnegan.
That's right.
Not bad.
That's right.
Not bad.
So, all right. So, look, I would love to get. We talk online about it, but I haven't spoken to you guys about since the draft and really gotten a feel for your reactions. So let's go through the picks one on one, and we've talked about the players, but I just want to know your emotional reactions, how you feel about it. So we'll start with Italy. The Jets come up to the podium and they take Will McDonald. What went through your mind?
Well, they took a while, in my personal opinion. They just took a while, and I just think maybe they tried to trade down, which it was that they were trying to do. And they loved Will McDonald so much that they went after him. And when I think of Will McDonald, he was in my top 10, and a guy that loves to jump over cars and very bendy. That's what I thought of Will McDonald. Him and Brees Hall, they went to the same college together. He was one of the first guys that greeted him out of Forum Park. I thought that was really cool. But overall, I was actually thinking in that pick, Nolan Smith and Cansey. That was going through my mind because, when Steelers jumped up and went to go get the tackle that I really think the Jets would have gotten, it just was like, okay, so we're going to have to do some backup plans. We have to get someone on defense now because the offense, I just didn't think they were going to get the guy from Ohio State. He went to the Seahawks. So I'm like, okay, cool. All right. So then I saw that they went after McDonald. And I was like, oh, it's not Nolan Smith. But I like the upside to him, even though he's in my top 10. I like how bendy he is. He gets after the quarterback. The dude's motor doesn't stop. And he made all of his tackles last year at Iowa. He did really good for the team, did really good in his conference. I think this is a Saleh type guy. And he's warming up to me now.
He's warming up to you now. Oh, so he wasn't a big fan of yours at first, but now he's starting to like you. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't let that go.
It's all good.
Y2K.
So it was interesting hanging out with the Virginia Jets fans. It was at AJ Gators. It was $2.50 well drink night. So let's just say we're all pretty excited and ready to celebrate. And we can't talk about this pick without talking about the most important part of it. Kyle, the 13-year-old kid, with one of the best draft intros we have ever seen. All the props to that kid. I hope he and Johnny go out for ice cream after all the wins later on this season. I mean, we need the two of them together. I think I'm here for that.
Oh, yeah.
Put that on Flight 2023. I would love it.
Hands down.
Yeah, well, So as the draft was going on, the three of the first four picks were quarterbacks. I was feeling really good. Witherspoon goes at 5. Love it. I wanted cornerbacks to go, quarterbacks to go. Johnson goes at 6 to Arizona. I was like, okay, could have seen that happen. When Bijan went at 8, I was starting to feel really good. I was really hoping a running back would fall. Then Jalen Carter. When Darnell Wright went, I didn't think he'd be the second tackle taken, but I knew Chicago liked him. You knew Tennessee was taking Skoronski. When Detroit took Gibbs, though, when they took a second running back, I said, okay, I think this could really work out. I really think that we might be able to get this pick. I felt New England more than anything needed a wide receiver. If I was them, I'd have taken Jackson Smith-Njigba. I feel like they really need a weapon on that offense, a go-to weapon. So then Green Bay takes Van Ness, and the second I looked at the TV and saw the Pittsburgh logo, I immediately went to my chart of draft needs, and I saw the first thing under Pittsburgh, offensive tackle. And right then, there was an audible from me, damn it, right at that moment when I realized what was about to happen. I said, okay, there's a couple different places this team could go after Jones gets taken. I didn't want the wide receiver. I didn't feel like we needed a wide receiver that high. I wasn't big on Nolan Smith because to me, I see 3-4 outside linebacker. I don't see a player who's going to thrive on the line. I see a player who thrives in coverage and in open space. I didn't think he was the right fit for this team. I would have been down. I definitely wanted Kalijah Cansey. That probably would have been my number one target at that point.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Same.
really it. I mean, from what I'm hearing, they didn't like Anton Harrison very much. It just wasn't a fit. And the
Right.
things we've heard about DeJuan Jones, oh my God, it's no wonder he fell as far as he did.
Yes.
The way he flunked the interviews, his weight issues.
Mhm.
Ooh, he looks like he might have one absolute bust written all over him. But never in a million years did I think it would be Will McDonald. I never, ever expected that. I felt that was a player they could have gotten maybe in the second round. We'll never know. But the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. And I'll tell you exactly why. A lot of us, the Jets had 45 sacks last year. That was tied for 5th in the NFL. But when you look a little closer, the pass rush was not what it could have been. If you look at the stat hurry percentage, so when a quarterback drops back, how often does he face pressure? The Jets were only 21st in the NFL in hurry percentage. So they didn't get to the quarterback a ton, but when they did, they sacked him. And now, when you look at what's coming up this season with the quarterbacks we got to go against, Allen twice, of course, plus Hurts, Mahomes, Herbert, on and on. We could go down the line. You know, we got
Prescott,
Prescott, Watson. Oh, and do I want to beat the hell out of Deshaun Watson now, even more so than ever? Right?
Amen.
After what he said about us, please, yeah. Go back to assaulting women, Deshaun. That's what you're apparently talented at. So screw you. So. Yeah, I did not expect that pick, but I get it more and more. This defense will always be predicated not just on the pass rush, but a pass rush with 4 defensive linemen. That's what it's all about. And with Huff and Lawson very possibly going next year, you're inserting a new piece. It makes sense. I get it. I'm with it. Let's see what he does.
I agree.
The more I thought about it, the more it grew on me. And then when I watched him jump over that car,
you were sold after the car.
So I mean, he's definitely you got to play him, wide gap. There's no question they're going to play him the correct way. He looks like an absolute animal, and I always remind myself. And it was funny because you'll see it. I videotape my reaction, but like one of the first things I said is after last year when I thought they weren't taking an edge, and I was like, no edge, no edge. The year that I'm waiting for them to take an offensive tackle. Right. I was like, now they take edge. But the more I think about it, the more it's grown on me. The more comfortable I became with it, especially watching the film and saying, oh my God, what this guy does to offensive tackles is ridiculous. I mean, the second they make a mistake with either their feet or their hands, this guy capitalizes and is just all over it. He's really going to help us harass quarterbacks. And you're right. If you look at our division, and if you look at how to win in this league, offensively, you have to have a quarterback, and defensively, you have to be able to pressure the quarterback. And in our defensive scheme specifically, our defense is horrible if we're not getting pressure. So I understand now what they did and why they did it. Mm-hmm. Now we move on to the second round, and John Michael Schmitz is on the board still. Everybody was available. Our mock drafts were totally false. We thought everyone might be gone. Nobody was gone, except maybe Avia. Here we come, right? And then we take, and it's not like everybody had John Michael Schmitz. People had Tippmann. Lots of NFL analysts had Tippmann as the number one guy. So it wasn't just John Michael Schmitz. But to me, it was just not surprising they took a center. We said it a million times. Second round center. We need a center. Even signing McGovern, I think a lot of people still wanted to resolve for the future center. So we take Tippmann. The player surprised me, not upset me, because I knew he was one of the guys that we wanted. He was one of those top guys that we'd all be happy with. But Gino, I see you waving your hand, so let's start with you. What was your reaction to that pick?
Wave my hand because he was the guy I wanted.
Yeah,
he was the guy I wanted. He's big, he's strong, he's center. He could play guard, tackle, even a little bit. Wisconsin is known for just developing great centers and guards and tackles, and I think Aaron Rodgers, in my personal opinion, had a little bit to do with this. He's Wisconsin, Tippmann even said he went to a lot of Green Bay games, and he met with Rodgers a couple times behind the scenes, and I like it. Mangold loves it, and I think he's just super tall. He's super big. He can flatten anybody. And I think this is going to be our center for the next few years. I love this pick. I did not want GMS. I did not want Whippler, even there too. I was all in on Joe Tippmann, and I'm super happy he's here. And I think this is going to be a great move down the line, man. Vera Tucker, Mitchell, Tippmann. It's going to be good, man. I love it.
Yeah. It isn't amazing. Luke Whippler dropped to the 190th pick all the way to the 6th round of Cleveland. Just amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, and of course he went to the Browns after playing at Ohio State. It's like that's where he was supposed to go the whole time anyway. I guess it's only fitting. Yeah, for me, I was pretty much a toss up with Tippmann and Schmitz. I felt like Whippler was starting to fall down the boards a little bit. So I wasn't looking at him, but after the Jets signed McGovern, it was like, okay, they need a center, but they could draft somebody who they could develop. It's not a position where they need a starter anymore. Because before I did not want to get past the second round without taking a center. At this point, I would have been like, okay, center, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, they could pretty much do any one of those, and so be it. But to me, Tippmann was definitely the player with the most upside at that point. I guess the only concern I do have is you don't see centers who are that tall typically at 6'6". So my hope is he can, play low enough, that he can straighten those big defensive tackles up. But the floor seems quite high, and if there's one thing the Jet fans can hang their hat on, it's that we are darn good at center over the years, from Schmidt to Fields to Sweeney to Mawai, to Mangold, to Spencer Long. Okay, not him. But we have a very good history of centers. And why should we not believe that he's going to fit right in? I think Keith Carter's going to love to get his hands on Joe Tippmann. I think this is the kind of player he likes, a big, nasty offensive lineman and running people over. I think Keith Carter was probably turning cartwheels when the Tippmann pick was announced. So if I had to pick one draft pick I am most confident working out, I think most people would probably agree. It's the Joe Tippmann pick. Loved it.
It's a nice, solid pick. Very, very high floor, extremely high ceiling. Really excited about it myself. I want to welcome some people in that we didn't get to. They came a little bit after the show started. I just want to make sure we say hello to Braden, our friend in New Zealand. Got to see him on a Patreon call with Green Bean as well before. He's a great guy. I did a horrible impression of him before on Proud New York Jets fan channel, but we had a good laugh about it. Hank G, what's going on? Brees Lightning, thanks for being here. Love Hank G. My buddy Grandizer moderating, helping out, telling everybody where to find us. Thank you so much, Grandizer. Appreciate it. Van S of Watts on 9. I don't know why anybody would hate on you, my friend. I don't know which team you like, but we don't hate other fans here typically. Although there is some sour feelings towards Green Bay for whatever reason. Even though they're just taking care of themselves just like we would. John Nolte came and joined. He's been in the chat. Snowball's been here. Raw Power's in here. We got the whole crew. We got Modine referring to Aaron Rodgers as Brett Favre. And if anybody thinks he's making a mistake or anything, he's not. He's just being Modine. So anyway, after our second pick, we have to wait forever. That was the hard part, right? So tick, 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 tick. We're waiting. And then we finally are getting closer. I'm all excited. I'm actually in this barbecue place with my wife, but I got the phone on. She's filming me for my reaction. I'm all excited. Trade. Boom. When we go down to 120, which pissed me off because there were lots of guys I wanted to pick. And I said, oh, no, we're going to lose those, Owen Papoe, this and that. And we come out, and who do we pick at 120, Adam?
We pick an offensive tackle from Pittsburgh by the name of Carter Warren.
A guy I never heard of. So because we didn't talk about him, it was never discussed. He wasn't on Dom C's top 10 at least. I didn't know anything about the guy. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to push it to Italy Jet, whose fingers popped up. Did you know who he was, Italy?
I did. He was in my top 15, 20 because he has an injury history, and he even said that he's fully healthy now. He's ready to go. But he is from New Jersey, Peterson, New Jersey. I think that's Patterson.
If y'all have seen the Lean on Me movie with Morgan Freeman, it's set in Patterson, so he's from the rough side of Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just knew that he was from New Jersey and everything was all happy. Him and Izzy were having a great time. All I know is he could be a good one down the line, and I even think next year. But he didn't get that many games in the last 2 years. He's been injured. Like I say, he's had with the knee stuff. He's got knee injuries. So I think overall, he could be a good guy maybe next year. I think they should redshirt him this year. But he's a big guy. He's a big guy. Joe Douglas loves big guys, just like with Joe Tippmann. But he was in my top 15, 20. And I think if he didn't get injured, he would probably be maybe second round, maybe. But he I think Carter's going to have fun with them. But I don't know where he's going to be down the line because he was just so far down on a lot of people's radar. That's like, okay, well, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? And I think the trade down, then they trade down again. It's like, okay, all right. So I thought this was like a panic move a little bit. That's just my personal opinion.
I think that the development of Carter Warren is going to factor in a lot with what the Jets do with other players on their offensive line going forward. Warren at this point is a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. So that's the first thing I could tell you about that. One thing that's interesting, if you look at just like actual pass sets, like true pass sets as they call them, so that's like, two receivers, 2 to 4 seconds to throw the ball, standard, just kind of a standard pass type of formation that the offense does. So in 2021, Warren allowed pressure on 4% of those pass sets. That's in the 86th percentile among all tackles. That's better than Ike Ekwonu. That's better than Charles Cross. So Carter Warren is a very capable pass blocker. And he played a lot in the zone as opposed to gap. And we mostly run a zone offense. So I think this is a little bit Max Mitchell-esque, where he could play if he absolutely had to, but in a perfect world, the Jets would redshirt him for the entire season. But I think when the preseason games come, count on seeing a whole lot of Carter Warren protecting the blind side of Tim Boyle.
Yeah. Now to answer Kareem's question, the reason I don't see him moving to guard is because I think we have depth at guard now. I think that adding Tippmann to the team, McGovern could play guard. So whoever wins the center job year one, the other one that doesn't win the job, whether Tippmann doesn't win the job right away or McGovern doesn't win the job, either one of them could step into the guard role. So, for that reason, I think they picked Warren to be a tackle. I think that's why he was selected. It's not impossible if last year happens all over again and everyone gets hurt. It's not impossible. I heard he's capable, but I don't think that's how they're looking at him. I don't think that they're looking at him at depth at that position. I think like this is more realistic. Is he going to beat out Max Mitchell as the guy to come in off the bench at tackle before or after Max Mitchell? Is he the future with Max Mitchell? Will it be him and Max Mitchell that are our tackles of the future? Or will one of them pan out to be much better than average and be someone that can actually be a starting tackle for us and be very legitimate? I guess the answer is we'll find out. And if JD hit right, then the answer is, yeah, we'll see. Because Max Mitchell played really well in just 4 games as a rookie who wasn't even supposed to play last year. So he legitimately might develop into a very solid tackle in the NFL. So we're starting to build a nice little pipeline.
It's all about the pipeline, man. And that's the whole idea. Sometimes you let go of players, but over time you learn to trust your organization that they know what they need. And then the veterans who you do commit to, bring them in, say, here's what you do. This is how we do business. Do what we do and we'll be good. And if you don't, then your butt's going to be out of here. And that's what all these teams that we want to be like, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Green Bay, New England, all these teams that have sustainable success. They may not win a championship every year, but they're always going to be in the hunt and in playoff contention. We just think of the idea of 1 year of playoffs and people think we're going to throw a parade. Like we're going to be like the happiest group of people on earth, but it's all about developing that system to where the playoffs become the minimum expectation as opposed to a pipe dream.
Nice. Yeah.
So those were the first 3 picks. Then we move on to, I believe, 143.
That's right.
And this was a confusing pick to me.
Yeah.
This was a confusing pick because
Yeah.
at this point I'm already screaming for a Jomo. Defensive tackle. Where when are we going to start addressing positional needs? And where did we go, Adam?
We went with. Yeah, we know this guy, Van Ness. This guy ain't no Jets fan. I'm willing to bet he's a Packers fan, judging by Van Ness and Christian Watson. But we went with a running back. We went with, from the University of Pittsburgh, our second straight Pittsburgh player. We took Israel Abanikanda.
Sabanya
Belekanda.
You remember Natural Born Killers? The guy that was playing the Geraldo guy, he was like, Makanda. He was like screaming.
Akuna Bakanda. Abana Bakanda.
But hey, we take a running back from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Local boy, kid that looks like he's 15 when he's interviewed. Definitely home run hitting kind of kid. This was one that was exciting to me because I knew who he was, and because Tigo made me fall in love with the kid. Like Tigo was, watch this kid's tape. You got to watch this kid's tape, Jeremy. He's so fast. He's a sprinter. He's a home run hitter. He's strong. He's a one cut and go guy. And I, of course, I went and I Googled it and I looked at some of them and I watched some of his highlights and some of his film, and I became an Israel Awakanda fan. I didn't expect us to take him, but I did make that comment in the last mock draft we did on Buffalo's channel. I said, I hope we get Israel. And everybody looked confused. And that's how I ended the show, the last thing I had said. So it was actually a very thrilling and exciting moment for me. And I've only grown more and more excited as I've learned more about this kid. How about you, Italy?
Oh, man, he was the fourth or fifth running back I wanted because I really like. I did. I really wanted him.
Not you. I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But Izzy, I really like the story. I like the connection with Warren, and I think he brings a lot of versatile when it comes to the running game. When he goes through the hole, reminds me of LaDainian Tomlinson and Breece Hall. He's about 20 yards down the field. He attacks it really well. The only thing that's concerning is he's not good in the passing game. He did a lot of touches last year, but what he did get touches, and when he was on the field, did really well. I'm a huge fan. I think he's going to be RB2 eventually. Not right now, because we still got Bam Knight, still got Carter. But I think for now, I like it down the line. This was a steal. I really love this pick.
I mean, you don't see too many guys about 215, 220 pounds who just have the breakaway speed that he does. I mean, this guy was a sprinter growing up. Yeah. I mean, he was winning medals as a sprinter. And yeah, it's like he doesn't have a lot of quick moves like Breece might, but you give him that space, he's going to go. He can absolutely go. Now, he has a lot to learn as far as catching passes. One thing we don't think as much about running backs, especially when we get them, is can they block?
Yeah.
Especially in this offense, you have to be able to block. And I think he has to learn the techniques on how to do that. But yeah, the more we watched his video, because at this point on the Saturday, it's the Virginia Jets fans chili cook-off that we're having. So we're loading up on chili and beer and cornbread. We had 4 different types of cornbread, for crying out loud. So at this point, the food coma is starting to set in. It's I didn't see us going running back there. But I felt it was something that they needed because you don't know when Breece is going to be ready to go. Ty Johnson's been released. I love Bam, but, he did slow down a little bit as the offensive line continued to deteriorate. And Michael Carter, I want to like the kid, but we don't know where he is here. We don't know where his head is. How committed is he? Right now, I feel like he's not a player I could count on, and I want to. So I feel like it made a lot of sense to draft one more running back. And we've had a lot of very prodding running backs for a long time. Remember when the highlight of our running game was hand the ball off to Frank Gore and watch him fall forward for 2 yards?
Yeah.
That was our entire running game. And God bless like the Bilal Powells of the world, but every team in the NFL has a Bilal Powell.
True.
So now we're seeing difference makers at running back, and Israel can be one, but he does need a little bit of refining. So I guess the thing is this. Is it one of those situations where when he's on the field, is the defense going to know it's a running play to him? Because he ain't going to be there blocking. You know what I'm saying? I hope he doesn't make it predictable.
And also Joe D loves drafting running backs and tight ends. So I was not shocked at this pick right here.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, there was a different time in the world when this kid may have been picked a lot earlier, but like the value of running backs has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, 5th round, 6th round, you can get running backs. I mean, it's just the reality of the league, and we see it happen all the time now. So I want to say hello to Chris Bradigan. I hope you're feeling well today and you're having a good day, Chris. And it's good to see you here, brother.
Bradigan. There we go.
Oh, love that movie.
So we had so the next pick, again, a little bit of a trade back, I believe, right? Didn't we trade back a little bit? It was supposed to be 170.
At this point, I believe we were picking 170, and we traded that for 184, and I don't know if it was, and I think no, we traded back for 204 and 220 because initially I think 170 was going to be our last pick. Yeah, that's the one we traded with the Raiders. So they took 170 and they drafted Christopher Smith, the safety.
Right. And then we had like 186 or something already for something else, right?
Yeah, we've been trading down a little bit. So yeah, we got 184. Yeah. That was our next pick.
Okay, and who did we take at 184?
That was Zaire Barnes, the linebacker from Western Michigan University.
So that was my least favorite pick, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he proves me wrong. But that's the guy I don't think is going to be anything but a special team guy. What do you think?
I think if anything, maybe this is maybe he would. It's him and Hamza Nasruddin for a roster spot. I put it this way: I still feel like we need another linebacker on this team, Quan Alexander. But at this point, this is going to be one of the. I didn't know this guy's name at all. I mean, I really wasn't. Yeah. There's some linebackers who I was interested in, but we know this isn't a defense that's predicated on linebacker play. The better the pass rush is, the better everything else looks. And now you could say the same with the cornerbacks. The quarterbacks make the safety look good. Defensive line makes the linebackers look good, and all of that. So probably I would say I've spent as little time on him as anybody else. And it's amazing the pick before that was J.L. Skinner. If we could have had Skinner, I'd have been very, very happy. To get him as late as he would have gone, but didn't work out. They go with the linebackers, so we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah. What's up, Jet Show? Good to see you. Who's the master? Show enough.
Hey, Show.
My other partner in crime.
Yeah, I know you guys have done a lot of work together.
Yes,
we love Sherwood too. Nalty's mentioning Sherwood. But, he's more of a middle linebacker. I don't know if he's playing off ball.
Well, he might have to play off ball because
exactly.
He can. I hope he does. I like him. But.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think he's going to be more of a special teams guy this year. I mean, maybe I know Saul loves those linebackers and those edges, so maybe he wants to develop them and maybe like a Kinlaw from the 49ers maybe. It's a long shot, but maybe he sees something and that could be the potential maybe for next year. But I agree with Jeremy. I think this is just more of a special teams for now.
Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, Shell. We got James C is here. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. So it's kind of weird because then I feel like some of the picks actually get more exciting and get better after that pick.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then we take the Converse kid.
Converse kid.
Even though it said cornerback, I'm assuming they're going to groom him as a safety. What do you think?
Yeah.
Most likely. I think the idea is to move him. This is probably Jason Pinnock, the sequel. I think that's kind of his idea.
Yes.
The one thing, though, is he's not a playmaker. He had 4 interceptions in 5 years in college. So this isn't exactly something he's known for. Now, he's a very good – he's got a little bit of that – and I'm not comparing him to the guy, but he's got a little bit of that Sauce Gardner in him where the idea is to cover but not necessarily make a play on the ball. So he got about almost an 80 pass coverage grade this past year at LSU. He allowed 26 catches on 44 targets, but just 66 yards after the catch. So, Jacob, a broken clock is right twice a day. So, so he is a pretty good tackler. I don't know. I think we already have pretty darn good depth at cornerback anyway. I think the idea, though, is to move him to safety and see if he could carve out a role there.
GVH is a guy who knows the movie The Last Dragon really well. That's a great line. Kiss my Converse. That's a great line. Jet Show, gotta love that.
I love that. I don't. What is that? What he based his name off of? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Gotcha.
The Last Dragon with like Shonuff and
there you go. Okay.
Bruce Leroy. Yeah,
there you go. Okay.
And I guessed it. I saw Jet Show. I saw it's SHO, and I said show enough. And one time he laughed and he goes, "That's why I named myself that. I love that movie." And I was like, "That was my favorite. One of my favorite movies growing up. Like a cult classic.
Nice.
Just like such a great movie. Like with Eddie Arcadian, the bad guy. And like such a great movie for anybody who hasn't ever watched it. It's so funny and so good.
Wow.
There was another movie like it that I loved also called They Call Me Bruce. And it's just a classic comedic satire of karate movies, and it's so funny.
Nice.
They Call Me Bruce.
Look up They Call Me Bruce. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. You'll love it.
Call Me Bruce. Okay, cool.
So when does Quinton get his bag? Well, we can take a break from talking about the draft picks since the only person left to talk about is Kuntz. I think that he's going to get I think his daughter is going to be, or his child is going to be born pretty soon. Quinton's about to become a father. And I have a feeling, they're going to do it around that time.
So 2 to 3 weeks is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because that's when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in like 2 to 3 weeks, part of the celebration of him becoming a dad is, and here's your giant contract to secure your family's future.
Okay.
I
gotta be honest. I am not quite that optimistic. I think that this is going to drag out for a little bit. I think it's going to happen. I'm going to say it happens the second. I don't know what the date is, but the second day of training camp. They'll miss the one day, and then there'll be rumors of a holdout. All the beat writers are going to try to get us to panic and everything like that. And
right.
They'll be going to like the Roscoe Diner or whatever it was. I know it's in a different state, but anyway, just go with it. And I think it's going to happen right at the beginning of training camp, and I'm thinking it's going to be about $24 million a year.
Nice. I think mine's I would say mine's more like June or July, and I think it's going to be $25 million a year. I think I just know the history with us in first round picks. And I do think it's going to get done. I really do think it's going to get done, but I think it's going to be around 25 million a year. And I think it's going to be around June or July.
James C comes in with a second time he's done this super chat without a chat. James C, remember, if you want to put anything in there, you can write something, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support. Keeps the
right above he wrote "Let's go." So that's his super chat message.
That's his super chat. Well, anything else you want to write, we'll highlight it for you. But thank you so much, James. We appreciate you. We appreciate the super chat and the support of the channel. Thank you so much. So but seriously about the I was so busy joking about the Kuntz pick. And and coming up with punny jokes and stupid jokes, I didn't even really look into him until about a few hours later. Mm-hmm. And he's actually kind of an exciting player.
Oh, he killed it in the combine. like with this height jump and everything, speed. But here's the thing: the reason why he got picked 7th is because his injury history. He would have been first, second, third round in my personal opinion. 6, 7, yeah.
Yep. Wow, Jet Show. Thank you so much. Showing the love for the 3 of his favorites. One of the most generous people that I've met on YouTube so far is the Jet Show. He's like the greatest guy in the world. I'm hoping I'm going to get to bump into him in Las Vegas when our Jets are there. I'm hoping that that's actually going to happen, and we're going to get to hang out for real. It's already going to be out of control. Like, can you imagine me in the Jet Show hanging out? The way I'm going to be like a gnat, all over him, making jokes, trying to make him laugh, being my goofy self. And he seems to be a guy who appreciates it. He likes the humor. It's going to be wild when the 2 of us get together. But thank you, Jet Show. I appreciate it. And I'm going to drive him crazy because I'm going to be quoting that movie the whole time that we're hanging out.
What's going to be fascinating is which of your channels gets more action, the Jets channel or the food channel while you're in Vegas.
Right. He might need a pause button eventually for Jeremy.
I'm going to be. You might have to bring multiple phones, multiple cameras because they're all going to be running out of battery power.
I'm going to grab him and be like, "You must seek the master. Some dumb boy."
Oh my God.
Some dumb boy. Thank you so much, Jet Show. We really appreciate it.
Oh boy.
I love it.
I'm a fan of bearded Jeremy. I haven't shaved in a while myself, so I don't know. The thing is, you grow quick. You go from clean to 5 o'clock shadow in about 20 minutes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is how fast it comes in if I don't shave for a little bit. And I've been what I've been doing pretty much is I shave every 4 to 6 weeks. But then I let it grow. So
we're not talking about, and guys, we're not talking about Manscaped here, just for the record.
No, I use Manscaped. I use Manscaped a lot more often than that. So.
Oh my God! Since we're kind of going with hair, I have to be honest. So I had a pretty crazy day at work. I had 6 appointments today for financial aid. We're starting 120 people on Monday. On my break, I'm like, you know what? My hair's getting pretty thick. I'm going on like taking some trips in the pretty near future. Let me go get a haircut. I go over to Sport Clips and I got a $10 coupon off the MVP treatment. So you get the steam towel, the all of that, the massage, all that good stuff. Little did I know that regular haircut is $37 freaking dollars with all the bells. I remember when that thing was $24, $25, $26. Now I still got $10 off, but when you throw a tip into it, it's like, I thought eggs were bad. Haircuts have gone through the freaking, that's been launched by the space shuttle. It was like, I couldn't believe it. I'd pay for a freaking haircut today. Oh my God. But I got to say, that steam towel was pretty freaking amazing. I got to say it.
Eminon wants you to hit that like button. That's my way of doing it now.
I just do
hit that like button. So,
I think we have one more draft pick that we need to talk about.
Oh, by the way, what's up, Ant Jets 82? Eminon, you see how all the boys are coming in? They all come in eventually. They all get sucked in. They want out and they suck them back in. Wow. Here's a good friend of ours, Mark from Ashbury Park, the pizza man himself, the man who I naturally have to love as much as anyone because he makes my favorite food in the world and he does it very, very well. One of the excellent pizzas if you're on the Ashbury Park area. Vic's Pizza, highly rated. Cannot wait to try it someday.
Nice.
Sorry to cut you guys off. But anyway, hey, look, I think that Kuntz is going to make the team. I heard some people say they'll put him on the practice squad. I do not think they will leave him vulnerable. I do not think so. I think that they chose him to be a weapon, and they are not going to leave him up there for another team to poach. I really don't.
Amen.
Yeah, I think that you know what? I've got a few things to say. Italy, I'm actually going to give you the floor because we have kind of a personal connection with Zach Kuntz where I live right now. So actually, I want to let you go ahead of me on this one, if that's okay. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. I think he's a steal. I think he's a steal of the draft for the Jets. he's gonna be a great weapon. I think Yeboah is gone. I think it's gonna be Rucker, Kuntz, Uzama, and Conklin. And you know what? Rodgers loves those tight ends, man. Loves them in the red zone, loves throwing them down the field. And you just gave him a big Jimmy Graham from back in the day. I mean, he's huge. Lewis is huge too. You just gave Rodgers a huge, tall weapon. And if he didn't have all those injuries, and if he didn't transfer from the school he was before to the school he was now, he wouldn't be the way he is and how he's doing his career. And fun fact, he's got a YouTube channel. It's awesome. So I love it.
I can only imagine the name.
Right.
Hey guys, that's what we should all do. We should rename the channel of that particular tight end. Yeah, one thing about Kuntz, he definitely thrives in man coverage, if you know what I mean. But that's been my favorite. Thank you. So for those who don't know, down where I live in the Norfolk, Virginia area, we in the Virginia Jets fans group, we have season tickets to ODU football. We go to every ODU home game. They are not good. This is not the best college football team you will ever see. But one thing about him, when he plays, he is very raw, but you see just raw ability and raw talent. So in 2021, he was first team all-conference, 73 catches, 692 yards per, 5 receiving touchdowns. That was in just 13 games. He did get hurt this season. And yes, he absolutely needs some refining, just like some of the other draft picks that we talked about. But this guy was supposed to go 4th round in some mock drafts. I mean, this guy was going to go early, we thought. And the fact that he dropped as far as he did, I am super excited. The other thing he has to do is hands have to be a little bit better to become a more reliable pass catcher, learning how to really catch with his hands as opposed to with his body a little bit more. But man, oh man, for the pure skill and the pure potential that he has, I think everybody's just going to be all over Kuntz before long. Everyone's going to be all over Kuntz. What can I say?
I know. Well, and then I heard them say it like, Kuntz, what's going on for Vane? What's going on?
Mo Dean, don't be knocking no ODU in our conference. Come on now. Come on.
I know. Well, come on. He's going to be negative. He's going to take the negative take on everything. What's going to be funny is if we make the playoffs and we make a deep run, or if we go to the Super Bowl, what's poor Mo Dean going to do? What's he going to say? He's going to say, well, we gave everything away for it, so we're not going to win another one for 30 years.
He's not a real Jet quarterback, please. He gets us to the Super Bowl, I'll be erecting the statue. You kidding me? One of Joe Douglas, one of Aaron Rodgers, and I'll start with Joe Douglas's head. Just make sure the head's shaped right.
I'll tell you, man, if we win a Super Bowl. So here are the guys. I mean, out of those draft picks, the 3 I think that are going to make most likely to make a contribution, in my opinion, if I had to list it in order, I'd actually say number 1 contributor is going to end up being Tippmann, because I think he's going to win the starting center job and be an obviously very important piece. My number 2 is McDonald. I actually think he'll definitely be part of the rotation. I think he's going to get sacks his first year. I'm not saying he's going to be one of the stars of the league. I know it takes time, but I can see him getting, I could see him getting between 5 and 10 sacks. I really could see it. And I could see him being an impact player and really helping our pass pressure. And then 3rd, I would say Israel. I think that he might get, I think he's going to get carries. I think he's going to win it. I don't know if he'll be the number 2 guy or RB2 or RB3, but I think he's going to get into the lineup, and I think he's going to be one of our running backs. So that would be my top 3 as far as contributing right away. What do you think, Italy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. Tippmann is going to be one of the most important positions because he has the chance to actually start right away. Because they even said, what Joe Douglas and Silas said, it's going to be a competition at the center position. So may the best man win and see what happens. You're going to get good depth either way, whoever wins that battle. And McDonald, definitely for me. With Huff and Lawson, they got one more year left, could be free agents next year. That's an opportunity for Will McDonald to make a splash and make his name known and get in right away. So I think that's going to be good. Number 2, Izzy, man, I'm excited for Izzy. I'm over the moon because I love that speed and I love what he's going to do in that running back room. And Brees is going to take care of him. I love the pick. I think eventually he could be RB2. And I think 4 or 5, though, for me, I think it's going to be that CB that we got from LSU. And then number 5, Kuntz.
Yeah, it's the challenge for Kuntz is that we have so many tight ends.
Agreed.
So
a lot of decisions.
Right, so are these coaches going to select Kuntz?
Yeah, I know.
Are they going to select the other tight ends instead
I know.
of Kuntz?
I know.
I'm being funny here. It would be funny if I was pronouncing it a different way.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. Someone already said it in the chat. So I don't know who it was.
We can't. We know who it was. No, we can't even call him Zach because we have such a negative connotation of the name Zach right now.
Yeah,
it's even more challenging.
I just can't imagine. It's going to be hard for him because it's, like I can't imagine them shelving Jeremy Ruckert another year. Not after the way he played against Miami. Like, you can't just waste away Jeremy Ruckert. He was pancaking people that game. When he finally got a chance, he was fantastic. And I think you got to take, him to the next level. It's just, out of the 2 veteran tight ends, are we going to trade one of them, or are we just going to rotate our tight ends?
Yeah, I wonder if this is the end of Kenny Yeboah. I mean, but the thing is, they really use him on special teams. They love him on special teams. So what happens? And if you have an extra tight end or 2, we kept Nick Bawden at fullback. I'm worried that he's going to get squeezed out of here. And I'll tell you what, I like Bawden, especially for this running game, but I don't know if there's really a role for him in this spot because let's face it, Jeremy Ruckert can block. If nothing else, he is a nasty blocker. And I think he's only going to get better at that with an off season. But I mean, my God, has there ever been a team that had 5 tight ends on their roster? I mean, the more I think about it, I think it's going to depend a lot on how the ODU tight end plays. And do they risk exposing him? Because here's the thing. He went in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
Every team had an opportunity to draft him if they wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could potentially stash him away on the practice squad, which, to be honest, might be the best for his development in year 1. I don't want him being on the 53 and being inactive every single week when you have all this step ahead of him. That's my thing.
Yeah, but someone's going to pick him up, though. If you
I'm
put him on
worried
practice squad, someone's going to scoop him up real quick. And maybe you can use him in the wide receiver position, maybe. I doubt it, but you have options.
But somebody could have picked him up. They had so many chances. I mean, it was the 7th round when he went.
Yeah, I get that, but like, what happens if we have him on the practice squad and then a team has an injury to their receiving tight ends,
right?
And then they look around the league for who they can find as a replacement, and they all know all the players and the tape, and they say, "Oh, this kid's 6'8", we could bring him in." And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's risky. I mean, it's risky. I think you could protect anybody on the practice squad like for up to 4 weeks. You have like each week you get to announce a player that you're protecting, but you can only do it 4 weeks in a row. So I don't know. I mean, it's very early in the offseason, like in that we've made trades later than this point before. It's not impossible that we're going to trade one of our veteran tight ends.
I think it's going to come down to it. But who would it be? Who do you think?
It could be. I mean, who's Ruckert replacing as the blocking tight end? It's
probably Zama's was more the blocking tight end. I mean,
right. There you go.
But we have to keep in mind we have a whole new offense now. Mike LaFleur is not here anymore, and even though I feel like most of the season I felt I was defending him for the most part. One thing that I always didn't like was the way they used the tight ends. I felt they were used in terrible formations. They were never used in the red zone until right at the end of the season. And so for the people who were down on Uzama and Conklin, I feel they were never put in a position to succeed. Now
Exactly.
you've got number 8 a quarterback, which still feels weird to say,
Yeah.
but he's number 8 right now, one of the greatest of all time. We have seen him take Richard Rodgers and put him on SportsCenter highlights for a year. Why can't he do something like that with freaking Jeremy Ruckert or even Kenny Aboa, let
And
alone
Finley.
Conklin or Uzama?
And
Guys,
Finley.
I'm gonna have to leave for like 15 minutes because I got something I got to take care of. But Adam, you still have controls, right?
I have controls. I do.
Okay. But before I leave, I'm not gonna leave you alone.
Hide the women and children.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the hardcore bodyguard, the man with a plan, the man who does not take crap from nobody. He's big, he's bad, he's the greatest protective friend in the world. Nick Shine, the proud New York Jets fan.
Just want to point out the banner underneath my name. Big fan of new cunts.
So which we're getting monetized.
All right, guys. Adam, take over the show. I'll be back.
Didn't
All right. See you in a moment.
Wasn't there a fullback in Green Bay with that same name?
That was John Kuhn. They were always going Kuhn.
Yeah, Kuhn. Kuhn. Kuhn.
They love that guy. Yeah,
they love him. Oh yeah.
Which,
how you guys doing, right?
Oh man, we're doing fantastic. Man, it just
I was in bed. I was like contacts out in bed, and then he texted me the link. Like I'm laying there, lights off, and I was like, "Ah, shit, I'll hop on." Like I love you guys when I put my contacts back in and like get out of bed, because usually the contacts coming out, it's like that's it. The night's a wrap. A nuclear holocaust would not even get me out of bed at that point.
Right.
But I got up for cunts.
There's so many "that's what she said" lines, and we don't need they almost write themselves now.
What's up, everybody in the chat? How you guys doing? I see everyone. Hello.
So what do we think about, let's talk about the free agent signings today. First of all, let's talk a little bit about Randall Cobb. So it seems as though this has left the Jets open to a little bit of ridicule from certain pundits and people who just want to hate on the Jets. So, guys, I want to get your what do you think about the signing of Randall Cobb and also the reaction that it's been getting around the football world? Italy, I'll give it to you first.
That it finally happened, and I'm not surprised. It's kind of like, okay, well, that's one of Rodgers' guys for a long time. Last game of the season for Green Bay, they walked out together. So, and in the California meetings with all the Jets guys, staff, he mentioned Cobb. So it's kind of like, okay, all right, I'm waiting for this to happen. And he's a good veteran. He's 32 years old. He's not what he used to be in Green Bay, but that's Aaron Rodgers' guy. He's going to find a way to get him the ball. And I think he would be a great mentor for Hardman. And I think Hardman is going to have a bounce back year. And he could also be a kicker and punt returner as well. Now we have a lot of options there, but he's definitely an upgrade over Berrios as well. So I could take it or leave it.
All right. Nick, your thoughts?
Fuck the media. I like it, and here's why. I like being hated. I don't know if you picked up on that with me on any of these shows. I don't mind being the bad guy. I don't mind the finger being pointed at us. I don't mind every move we make, people go into fucking hysteria. Because that's the point we're at now.
Yep.
We're not being laughed at. We're not bringing in guys who don't matter. We're bringing in guys that will make Aaron happy. We're bringing in guys who will help mentor the younger guys like Garrett Wilson, teach them the system, teach them the nuances. Where's your depth? Where's your cut? This is where he expects you to be. Jeremy and I were talking about it earlier when we were on in the afternoon on my channel. We popped on for a little bit today. Even more importantly, too, when the first team is out there and Cobb is on the sideline, he can be talking to Zach saying, okay, this is what you're looking for on this route. This is where this wide receiver is going to be. This is what you want to read. These are your checks. He can help with that also. I'm not – listen, Randall Cobb has 2 catches a game. That's more than I expect from him for the season. He comes up with 34 catches at the end of the season, 3 touchdowns, 400 yards. That's fine. He's not going to change the win total from his performance, but he might very well change it with teaching Garrett Wilson a little trick against a certain zone or a certain coverage where all of a sudden he reads it and he breaks free past the safety. He might do that. So it's like getting another player coach. But as far as the media, I love it. I love it. And I'm sitting up straight to get my head above this big comment by Sean.
I was trying to give you a haircut.
Well, talking about the tight end got me to get up straight.
That's what she said.
Yes. I love it. I love that every move that we do is going to be scrutinized. I love that every move that we make, other teams and fan bases are panicking. And now, instead of it being the Patriots, where every move they made, their social medias were attacked, it's now ours. And the media knows. You mention Jets on Twitter, you know the masses are coming. You awoken the angry mob. We're South Park. Rubble, 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 rubble. We show up and voice our opinions. And people who want traction on Twitter, no. Just irk the Jets fans. Even Jets writers know. Irk the Jets fans, and they will show up in mass, and it'll get views to your article, everything. So I love it. I love being a bad guy. Bring it on. I embrace this.
Awesome. Just want to give a quick shout to Sean McAteer. Yeah, we actually went through all the draft picks already, Jeremy, Italy, and myself. So feel free to rewind after the show, click back, and you'll get all our thoughts on Tittman versus JMS. I can tell you this, we're feeling pretty dang good about it. For me,
I need to say something real quick before your next thing.
Say something.
Anybody, you don't even need to enjoy hockey. Go to Adam's NY Sports Wicker Media page. I've watched it 4 times now. Adam's rant when the Rangers lost is the greatest rant because it's so un-Adam-like. And like, I was like a grandmother or a grandfather who had their grandchild cursing for the first time at like Thanksgiving dinner. Like, and every time he did it, like I dropped my jaw more. So she said, and I like my eyebrows went up higher. I'm like, he did what? He said what? Like I'm like, no, what? Like I had to watch it the second time because I was paralyzed in laughter the first time. It's so good. If you're ever in a bad mood, you're stuck in traffic, put Adam's video. I want it to be my alarm clock. I want it to start playing when I wake up in the morning, and that be the sound that starts my day. They tickle the balls. It's the best line in the entire.
Rivka, we apologize. She already watched the video. She's good. Rivka's good. Rivka. I just love saying her name.
Oh yeah. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I definitely dropped.
Do yourself a favor. Go
Yeah.
watch that. Enjoy it. Embrace it. After this show, of course.
Oh, I think Vervain and Mark from Asbury Park and Stephen Engel probably watched that video and beat off. As a matter of fact.
Kareem, we have Wilson, Lazard. Who am I missing? Hardman,
Corey,
Mims, Davis, and Cobb. Those are the top 6 now. And let's not forget, Aaron Rodgers has clicked with receivers who have been undrafted or late round picks, and all of a sudden they make the team. His word means something. If he goes to the front office and says, "I want this guy on the roster," there's something here. He's going to be on the roster.
Right.
Hey, Mark, go Canes, go. They look pretty good tonight once the team actually puts some effort into it. All of a sudden, they didn't look quite so good tonight.
I'm not a hockey fan. I just
we'll see
love
what-
busting.
Hey, go Leafs or Panthers. Those are my teams I want to win now.
I'm going to say to Adam, you can probably help console Devils fans because if there's anyone this week that can deal with their team losing by 4, obviously it's you.
I would love to make up the anger and be a fake Devils fan for a little while, but no, I'm nothing else if not genuine. I can't. I'm a good actor, but I ain't that good an actor. All right, so that is not going to happen. I would say for me, once Rodgers, the Rodgers trade came through, Cobb was the next obvious move. It was absolutely inevitable. I'm fine with it. I don't know how consequential it's going to be, but I could see him getting a few plays a game. I do wonder if this will impact Denzel Mims being on the field, if he was even going to get much time anyway. Because how many wide receivers are we really going to carry, especially if we're carrying all these tight ends? See, now we're really going to have fun with the 53-man roster. We thought it was difficult a year ago, the year before that, because we're like, okay, what resurrection project can we bring up? Like, Aaron Maben, let's keep him around for a while. Jordan Jenkins is coming back. Okay, he's our top pass rusher. It was like, remember how many good guys got claimed last year from the Jets? Because the other teams knew the Jets were acquiring talent. We lost a lot of players last year, and I hate to tell you guys this, but we might see the same thing happen again this year. So, James, Jeremy, we need you to answer this question. So James C. is all about trying to get on. He wants to know about phone calls. Is there a future for that? Are we going to be doing that at some point, taking phone calls? Do you have any?
Yeah, I was doing shows like that for a while. I was putting the link in and letting people on, like as a separate show.
That's right. I called in once.
You did?
Yeah.
I was the first caller. You had me call as a test. I was your first caller.
And now we know why we haven't done it since.
Yeah. That's why
so what I'll do is I'll start it off on like maybe next on Tuesday or Monday evening. I'll do just a thing, or maybe actually this Sunday when I come on, because I don't know if maybe that's because me and Dom C need another thing to talk about other than analyzing draft players. So maybe we'll shift the show to be geared to answering questions by having people come on and letting them talk a little bit. So it's a good idea, James C. I need to bring it back in some way. So I will, I'll either do it on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday night. I'll come on and do a calling show.
Nice. And we have that with the producer I have now too. He's mentioned that on my channel. We might be able to do that as well. And then we
do it. Yeah. We just started that tonight, and it was
good time of year, right?
It was successful. It went really well for the first time. For the first time, it went good on my channel.
We should ask Jeremy a bunch of questions since he just threw half a dozen cookies in his mouth at one time.
That was
he just puffed out. He just puffed out like a gerbil.
He had a tend to satisfy Mrs. Fields, apparently.
And I said earlier in the chat, I love the beard now. He can catch the crumbs in there with it. That's the only reason I have this. It keeps my shirt clean while I'm eating.
Oh man,
you get like half a meal out of your beard if it's big enough.
No, you're not even wrong. I can't even argue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, how long have you been growing that out?
Oh, I'm Adam.
Like
this is a layup for you. No, I'm a slow grower actually. Yeah, there you go. It was down to about like a quarter inch at the home opener. I brought it down, and then one point during the season, I think November or December, like I got it like trimmed up a little bit, but it doesn't grow very fast. But our new tight end might help with that.
Oh boy. Yes, John. Though, yeah, Nick has a producer. He is now big timed us, so he is going all Hollywood. He's obviously doing a show from inside MetLife Stadium. So
I love the picture. Like I just think it pops. I think it looks really good.
It does, especially when you stand up and part of you disappears through the green screen. It's amazing how that works.
Well, it's not that. It's the when I did the move, some things didn't make it. And the camera, which was HD quality. So I'm using the camera in the laptop. So when I do this, it does the refresh rate isn't good enough. Like you gotta move your hands slow. So I like that all of you started doing it. Like I was Olivia Newton-John leading an exercise video. Everyone did it.
All right. So then in that case,
somebody said that.
Nick, for your benefit, we're going to talk slower.
I didn't. The audio is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. John, my beard grew during the Rangers rant.
Yeah, man. Oh my god.
I went from the wicker chair to the Rangers rant. It took 12 months, but now I'm something else.
We went from the wicker chair to the rubber room.
Right.
I might need one. And that was me sober. Oh my gosh. Imagine if I was drunk that night. Oh my god.
Was it? I thought I was been a little tipsy.
Yeah,
that makes it even better now.
By then, no, it was out. No, I think I'd had like maybe one beer per period, but by the time I recorded, I actually had to re-record it. The first 10 minutes I was yelling so much, I'm like, I'm going to blow somebody's freaking eardrum out of their brain. I have to stop. I had to stop and redo it.
Take care.
Good night, James C.
Hey, James. Thanks. We'll call you. Anyway.
Oh, because
he wants to call me. But yeah, I was yelling so much. I'm like, I can't do this. And I find sometimes my second take of a video, I'm more organized, like there's better flow, and I'm not needing to edit as much. And this was one of those times. It was about halfway through talking about the second period. I'm like, this sucks. I need to go back and do this again. So I had to measure my yelling.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I love it.
I just wish it had happened 2 rounds later. That's all I'm saying.
Jeremy, I said when you were away, I was like, I want that as my alarm clock. Like, I want that, like the ringtone when he calls or the alarm clock, because we all know when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you want to hit snooze. There's no way I'm snoozing that and missing out on that rant. It's so good.
That is so funny to have it as a ringtone. That would just be.
You know what?
You know what they do?
Chris,
they
this one's for
the
you.
balls. Oh, Adam's calling. Let me take this.
Jeff Troll, I definitely didn't say that. No.
So,
and if I did, I was saying it just after game 2. Little did I know that they would absolutely stop playing. So they can be very thankful for the way the Rangers just handed the series over. But anyway, yeah, I just threw the link to the video in again. So yeah, feel free to check it out, like, subscribe, and share with any hockey fans that you know, or people who just like to see people go off. Basically, you don't have to be a hockey fan to appreciate it.
Could be people with anger issues. Or
I'm over it now.
Small Heath Pet Patrol. Thank you for the petrol. Thank you for the super chats. I love that you're quoting Watcher K99's rants.
I appreciate that you're taking the time to do that. I'm honored by it. Grandizer, yes. No, we're going back to this. Grandizer. It was 29 years ago. I've had no championship since. That Stanley Cup is so old, it's collecting Medicaid. Stop. Stop with 94. I was in middle school then. I'm 41 now. It's so bad that when the United States wins the Ryder Cup in golf, I have to count that as a championship. How much more waiting do I have to go through? Not that I'm bitter, but they say, you know what they say, suffering breeds, it breeds character. At this point, I'm ready for less character and more championships.
Hey, it's been much longer for the Islanders. So,
well, if you hear him talk about it, it happened 5 minutes ago. But they did have one of the great, maybe the last great true dynasty in sports. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Who? The Rangers?
No, the Islanders.
Yeah,
80 to 80.
Oh, yeah.
When you win 19 straight playoff series, I mean, can't
it was an amazing dynasty in the early 80s. That was crazy.
It was before I got into it. I got into the Devils in like the mid to late 80s.
And they still had the red and green, huh?
Yeah. Sean Burke was the goalie.
Sean Burke, then
that was my first and only hockey jersey was a Sean Burke in the 80s.
That's a very you know what? You could have given me all day. I would not have come up with Sean Burke if you had given me this was my first jersey. I probably would have gone with
my uncle got it to bring me to a game.
Nick, I would have been thinking of UNC basketball players before I would have been thinking of hockey players.
I never even thought of Sean Burke in 30 years until
nobody has.
His mom hasn't even thought of him.
Who are we going to talk about next? Tom Chorsky? Is that where we're going to go next?
You lost me.
He's like, I'm done after that.
You weren't that big of a fan, ladies and gentlemen.
Matt Stevens, like those are the next names I remember.
Oh yeah. So like I enjoyed the St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup when it was here.
That was cool.
And it was really cool. It was really fun. It really lifted the city up. It was really great. But I'm a Predators fan, so I'm still kind of bumming from that last Stanley Cup run. So,
oh my God,
it was horrible. I'm still like upset, but I know we got a great future. Love that Barry Trotz is back. think he's going to change the whole organization around.
Predators fan, huh? Predators.
I actually got to go to a Predators game this past Christmas when Nashville was in their deep freeze. It was literally 10 degrees out. Like,
he's a fan of Predators. No need to tell me who you voted for. No.
Wow.
Dropping the first puck would be cunts. Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
It's
Sometimes I get a little.
I'm not surprised.
Couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
How funny is it
You're
that
fine.
Adam actually flies to cities to watch the Mets play?
What is wrong with me?
For one day. For one day.
One day I'm making a day
You're
trip to
coming
Detroit
back.
tomorrow to watch Justin Verlander make his Mets debut.
Against
I
his
was
former
too
team.
Obviously, I'm
His former
single with
team.
no kids.
I was
no
too
wife, no
lazy.
girlfriend.
I was literally too lazy to go to Met games when I lived on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. I would just let my wife win and go see Yankee games because we were right by the B train, so it was nice and easy to go to Yankee Stadium. It was like literally 15 to 20 minutes. So we go to Yankee games all the time and would never go to Citi Field because from the Upper West Side of Manhattan, it was too long of a journey. And you actually fly places to watch them play.
I do. I really do. I could fly Norfolk to LaGuardia like at a moment's notice and just take the bus right over to Citi Field if I felt so. If I was feeling, if I needed to watch death. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
But Jeremy, though, now you're flying places now to see the Jets now.
I did fly across the country to see the opener. That is true.
Yeah.
But you were meeting with people. I'm doing this on my own. I'm not meeting anybody.
Yeah, I got to.
You're just going by yourself.
I'm just going.
Oh well.
I'm not meeting anyone at the stadium. I mean, how long do I really want to spend in Detroit, Michigan? I mean,
I got to have a big, hairy, ugly lug pick me up at the airport and drag me to Harold's Deli for breakfast.
Drag you? You were reaching across the car and stepping on my foot on the gas to get us there faster. What are you talking about?
You know what this represents? The stack of French toast you had.
He turned into run the red light. Run the red light. It's okay. There's 3 cars in front of me. Go through them.
As soon as he said we're going to Harold's, my heart started racing. A big smile came on my face. I'm like, I'm yelling at the cars ahead of us. Go!
Adam, I think you've been to more Mets games this year than Max Scherzer has been in. So good for you.
Well, he pitched, but showing up.
Did you see the interview today? Did you see the interview?
I heard about it.
With the tick, he's like, I'm only throwing like 92.3, 92.5. He's like, I'm a tick or a tick and a half below where I need to be. That's concerning for someone that age. It might never come back.
I gotta say,
I'm not doing it to pick on you. I just thought it was. I thought it was newsworthy.
No, I'll be fair. I'll say this, and not that we want to say too much on the other sports, but too late. Who cares? It feels like a Friday night now. But once Edwin Diaz went down for the season, all the sizzle for me, it was like turning it was like blowing out the fire. Like that took some of the sizzle out, and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to recover from this. And it's still early. If the season ended now, the Mets would be in the playoffs. That's what people don't seem to realize. And the team is playing nowhere near their capability. Right. And, these young kids, I mean, with Beatty and Alvarez, they are getting better and better. But you have to be this is the worst pitching rotation they've had ERA-wise since 1962. That is a lot of heartache.
That's their first year in existence?
Their first year in existence. That's how bad it is right now. Now, Verlander hasn't pitched. Scherzer's been horrible. Quintana hasn't pitched. Carrasco, we'll see what happens with the elbow injection. The problem is they don't have young starting pitchers ready to come up. Their best prospects are all position players. Yeah. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
So hey, James, we thought you were leaving. Looks like you're back now.
He couldn't resist. So we're gonna thank John Nolte for the super chat. Sports Clips gave Adam the Rangers cut. They didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything. Well, they started. Well, actually, I'll correct that. The first quarter of it went really well, but then they decided to stop. So they showed up for a moment, but when it really counted, they didn't do the job. I was all looking forward to the back massage, and I walked out in pure agony. What can I say?
Thanks for the super chat, John Nolte. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
You're a good man.
Yes, Rivka. He means Zach Allen from Arizona. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Rivka. The Mets are in big, big trouble.
Yeah.
They're in trouble, but they could absolutely recover from it. I'm not giving up on it. I don't have a Mets rant in me right now. I'm not there.
Right.
I just got one quick question to answer. I don't follow the Mets at all. Are they injury riddled like the Yankees, or is it just
They're
playing
starting
poorly?
pitching. They're starting
pitching.
Besides Scherzer, I know Scherzer's out, obviously.
Well, he just came back from the injury, but Verlander hasn't pitched yet. His debut's tomorrow. Carlos Carrasco barely pitched, but when he did, he was horrible. He had to get an injection in his elbow. Jose Quintana had to get a tumor removed from his rib cage. He hasn't pitched yet. Diaz, we all know what happened to him. Brooks Riley, their lefty relievers on the IL with elbow inflammation, should be back soon. A long reliever they got from the Marlins, he hasn't pitched yet. He might not be back till June. You need me to keep going on this? Omar Narvaez, their catcher, he's out 2 months with a freaking calf strain, which is why they called up Alvarez as early as they did. They didn't want to bring him up, but they had to.
Wow, that was all in one breath. That was
and Tim Castro got hurt. He has back spasms. They're stolen base threat.
I'll be honest. I stopped listening when you said Verlander and tomorrow.
What? What?
Because you got to hope he gets there. Like
what?
He could still slip on something tonight.
What? I wasn't listening to you either. Okay.
Look, the Yankees got problems too. They got this guy they're trying to use as a closer, Clay Holmes, and he's awful. So
there's so many injuries, man. You could put an all-star team together with the guys that they're missing.
Oh, yeah. I know they're the Yankees are decimated with injuries. Their lineup.
They had a nice walk-off win tonight.
Yeah, tonight was good. They almost blew it because of Holmes. I don't like Holmes as the closer. They got to go out and get a better closer.
Hey, could John
They got to
Sterling
be
come
in
up with a
leads
better?
though to close the games.
And I will say this: I do like the John Sterling home run calls, but the one for Willie Calhoun, can he do better than that?
I don't know.
Willie, he gives me the willies.
Dude,
he got some good ones, but some of them he just gave up.
He's 142 years old. I'm convinced that he passed away years ago, and it's like weekend at Bernie's, and it's weekend at the stadium, and they just like reel his carcass in and just prop him up. Like listen, I'm a huge Yankee fan. You're no Bob Shepard. You're never going to be like the other great announcers. Like you're too gimmicky. You made it about you instead about the purity of the game and the call. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. And I know Yankees fans will get mad when you say that. You put him and Susan together, and I feel that if I was in a doctor's office with an itch on the bottom of my foot that I can never scratch, listening to them, that's hell for eternity. Like you never get called into the doctor's office. You're in the waiting room. You can't scratch the bottom of your foot to get rid of that painful itch, and they're playing on a loop on the speakers.
Yeah. You went. So I talked about tickling balls, and you're going with an itch on the foot. You would have thought it'd been the other way around, knowing us.
I'm diabetic. When my feet started to go and the nerves started to go, it was like a Rambo machete going down my foot in the middle of the night. So to me, that's the worst when you can't get that to go away. But go ahead, let's get back to football now. We're talking about my feet.
Just to answer James' C question,
Rex Ryan would appreciate this conversation.
Just to get back to James' C question, yes, I'm from Brooklyn. I grew up in Canarsie, Brooklyn.
In the center of the borough.
In the center of Canarsie. My first 25 years of my life, Canarsie, Brooklyn, New York. Went to King's Plaza, L&B Spumoni Gardens, Brennan Carr.
Did you go to Roller Roaster? Did you go to Roller Roaster?
Roller Roaster like crazy, dude.
There we go.
Roller Roaster like crazy. There was a point where me and my buddies, once we were driving, when we were like 17, 18, we'd go to L&B. The next day we'd go to Roller. We used to go to, in Sheepshead Bay, there was a big movie theater, like 10 movies, the UA Sheepshead Bay Theater. We'd go see a movie there, and then afterwards we'd go to Roller Roaster. That was like a big thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then L&B was like its own night. Friday nights were L&B night.
Jeremy, please respond.
He said, I'm not from Brooklyn because I haven't lived there for 20 years.
That's the definition of being from someplace. You might not be there anymore, but you were from there.
And first of all, I have lived in Brooklyn in the past 20 years because I moved back to Brooklyn and I lived there from 2007 to 2011. So I did live 4 years in Prospect Heights, Brooklyn. So it hasn't been 20 years. And as they say, Modine, you could take the kid out of Brooklyn, but you can't take Brooklyn out of the kid.
I have to call shenanigans right now on something. And I'm just saying this in jest. Mark from Asbury Park.
Yes, I just saw this.
That's his name. Mark from Asbury Park. I was born in Greenpoint. You need a new name that says Mark from Greenpoint.
But yeah, man, Brooklyn. But James, you're from Sheepshead Bay. My wife grew up on Gravesend.
Yeah, that's where Vince Lombardi's from. Lombardi grew up in Sheepshead Bay.
Did he?
He did.
A little fun fact, a little nugget.
Yeah.
Random trivia for the night.
It's trivia spoilers. You give the answer, we have to figure out the question.
Oh, believe me, I'm already working on some trivia questions based off this draft class. I already got something worked up in the lab. That
Greenpoint Queens.
Yeah.
Greenpoint
The only thing I don't know if I'll be able to be on the show tomorrow night with Green Bean because I'll probably be in a layover in Charlotte. But we'll see. We'll see how the timing works out.
Yeah.
Jeremy left Brooklyn so long ago. He almost went 49ers chaos. He did actually. I think it was just.
Didn't he?
It was just a phase he was going through.
Is that still a thing?
I did. I just didn't. I just don't have time for it. Nah, I wanted to do the cravat attack with my brothers instead.
All right, Italy. I've teased you about this in the past, but I need to finally get to.
Here we go.
While we're talking about pizza, what is Provel cheese? What is the deal with it, and what is your opinion on it? I need to hear some Provel cheese insight.
I couldn't tell you because I don't like it. I don't even put it on a pizza. I don't even touch it. Me and my family, we don't like it. So I couldn't tell you because I the last time I've tasted it was when I was a kid, and I don't even remember it. That's how much I stay away from it.
Wow.
I never even heard of it. What is it?
It's the St. Louis thing. Yeah, Provel
cheese. Yes.
They use this different kind of cheese on their pizza.
It's like a blended. It's like provolone meets cheddar meets something else. It's a very different thing, but that's like they had to be a little bit different in the hills. So
no, in the hill, it's way different because you can go to like the small like mom and pop shops, and you can get like your just brand of it's from Sicily, so you can get what you want. But
6 pounds is $84.
You're looking it up.
Oh wow!
I did.
Well, there you go. But
you could get boar's head roast beef for less.
Right?
Emo's pizza. Emo's pizza.
Yes.
Emo's.
Yes. I like I said, I used to like Emo's, but I don't like it now because I just can't stand it.
But there's good pizza in every city, and as Italy.
And you guys haven't been to it yet, so there you go.
Right?
So
no, if I ever went to St. Louis, I would call Italy, and he would take me to the good places.
Yes. I went to one city I went to one Italian restaurant, and it was beyond disappointing. The barbecue in St. Louis to me was way better than the Italian food. It was, which I did not expect. But the Italian food, very disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Very heavy, very heavy. I felt that. The toasted ravioli didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't like toasted ravioli?
It was okay, but
I love toasted ravioli.
So hyped up. Yeah, I forgot the name of the restaurant. I know I had to wait 2 hours for a table by myself, which was just ridiculous. So I think right there, I was already not in the happiest. I was not a very happy Y2K at that point.
All right, guys.
About right.
So Rivka wants to get us back on track, back to the Jets. Knee-jerk reaction.
Thanks,
I'm going to
Rivka.
give my answers. We'll go through the four of us, and we'll uninterrupted take turns answering the questions in our opinion. Do they bring in a true free safety to compete with Adams? I don't think they do. I think it's going to be more situational. They're going to use Adams at free safety. They're going to use Whitehead sometimes at free safety. They're going to disguise what they're doing. Clark is going to be playing a little free safety. I think it's going to just be rotational. I think that they just run their defense a little bit differently than the traditional defense. Does Whitehead stay or go? I definitely think he stays after Salah's comments about a few weeks ago about he's excited to see him in the second year of the system. One of my concerns is what is needing a second year in the system have to do with learning how to tackle. Hopefully they're going to teach him to wrap his arms. Do any of the UFDAs make the roster? I was excited about that Bradley, that wide receiver. I think that he usually averages about one undrafted free agent that actually pans out and does something. So my prediction will be 2. One makes the practice squad and one makes the roster would be my prediction. I don't know the players well enough yet to predict who. So now I'll pass it off to Adam for his predictions. Or his
okay. So with bringing in a true free safety, I would say no. I think there are McLeod and Johnson are both interesting options, but I think there's other things that need to be that are more important figuring out. I still don't think have they actually figured out the Rodgers contract. It seems like they've talked about it, but it hasn't actually been. There's been no announcements about.
No, they're just still talking about it.
Changing. So yeah, make sure you do that first. Before we talk about bringing more players in. But I would take my chances with what we have between Clark. Davis. Ashton Davis is a special teamer. That's what he is. I still like Will Parks in his role. I'm still a fan of his, and I was very happy with Chuck Clark as well. And I still think the cornerback we drafted, I think they're going to give him a fair shot at safety. I really do. And yeah, Trey Dean, I think, is more of a box safety. I was thinking about him as an undrafted free agent, but I don't know if that's going to happen, but he is definitely the undrafted free agent who I knew best. And does Whitehead stay or go? I think they're going to give him one more year. I think they're going to give him that second year, see what happens. One extra year in the system. He's still very young, and I still think he is capable of playing better than he did last season. But my God, I hope he spent the offseason learning how to actually wrap up and tackle as opposed to giving a shoulder block. I can't watch another year of him trying to do that.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, I think we bring one in when the June 1st cuts hit or when roster cutdowns hit. I think they'll sweep in and get somebody who maybe's got familiarity with the scheme, depending how training camp and all the mini camps play out. I don't see them stopping at improving this team and even into the season. So I definitely think we bring someone else in further down the road. Does Whitehead stay or go? Depends on my first answer, right? If we find someone who we think's better off and we can cut ties and move on, okay. I have no issue with. I'm not saying no, don't cut him. If you got someone else you think can come in and play, or one of these young guys step up and we can free up some money this year, do it. Do any of the undrafted free agents make the roster? Rusty Spooner got me on and Jeremy the same show, I believe, months ago on Trey Dean. And I've watched a lot of Trey Dean, and he might only be a special teamer to start. Like I said the other day on my show on Friday night, that get with Hardy, mirror Hardy, everything he does. And some guys start off with a niche on special teams. And then, listen, not everyone ends up being Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu or Ronnie Lott at safety. Some guys are drafted and they played safety their whole life, but their niche in the NFL is to be a special teamer. So you always need those. We're going to be doing a lot of kickoffs this year. So we need guys on special teams. Like you said, Ashton Davis, that's his niche, right? Aside for stealing the Cleveland Browns victory last year with the interception, the one play of his career. But yeah, I'd have to see a little bit more. We'll know more out of rookie camp next week, I believe, right?
This weekend. It's this weekend.
This weekend? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll start to hear some stories. We'll hear who impresses. I know they gave somebody the biggest unsigned contract they've ever given. The name escapes me right now. Was that the receiver?
Bradley?
I think they gave somebody.
I thought it was Dean. No? Was I wrong? Or I thought it was Bradley.
No, it was some unknown guy that I never heard of. But Bradley, the wide receiver, was supposed to be expected to be drafted. So
Right.
There are people who like him.
So yeah, I think there's always somebody that comes out like and can jump up and surprise you, and you hope that they do, right? Like that the middle rounds from like 4 on, and the undrafted guys. That's where teams that win championships like find a guy that like nobody else found, and you bring him in, and then you plug him in at quarterback, and he wins 7 Super Bowls. Like you gotta hit there. Not everyone's gonna hit like that, obviously, but you gotta find some gems back there that come in. You put a guy in at guard for 4 years, and he's making $400,000 a year. That's how you really get blessed to do a lot of other things at other positions. Go ahead, Adam. I see you itching.
Yeah, I've got 2. I think the wide receiver you might be thinking of is TJ Luther from Gardner Webb. The Jets apparently did have to outbid several clubs to get him, so he was very, very much wanted.
Was it 200,000? Is that the number?
I don't have the dollar figure,
Okay.
but I did see
I
that
thought
they
Tom
have it.
mentioned it the other day on Saturday in the chat.
Well, I thought it was 100,000, like the 200,000,
I
right?
think they gave 120 last year to somebody.
Right, I remember that, but I think this year was at least 100,000 to 200,000 for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. But there's one other undrafted free agent we didn't mention, the linebacker Cherilus from Alcorn State, Claudine Cherilus.
Okay.
So he's got that speed at linebacker we might want. He ran a 4.4540 and he's got a 38-inch vertical, so you know he's got some explosion on him. So that might be a sleeper because we know we need some linebacker. If Quan doesn't come back, he might get an opportunity to win a job on the 53.
So let's go.
Thanks, Jacob. Have a good night, man. Jacob's checking out.
Good night, Jacob. Let's go to Italy Jet. Answer the questions.
So we're talking on undrafted free agents that we signed, correct?
Well, do they bring in free safety to compete with?
Yeah, Dean. I like Dean a lot. It's just going to be tough for him because it's already going to probably be a packed safety room, especially for safety and safety. But I really like Dean from Florida Gators. I know me and Liam talked about him a lot, and we like him a lot. I do like that Bradley kid that you were talking about, Jeremy, and I do like the kid that Adam was talking about as well. And if Quan doesn't come back, absolutely he'll get a shot.
He'll be back.
And even Bradley, and just a lot of the other guys like Luther, there's going to be a shot. But just like Salah said last year, we're going to cut some good football players this year. And look at Pinnock. Went to the Giants. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens because it's not done. We can sign someone, waive someone, and pick someone up just like that.
Okay, what do you think about Whitehead?
I think they're going to give him one more year. I don't think they're going to trade him. I don't think they're going to cut him, but I do think they're going to give him one more year, and then that's it. Whatever he does this year, it's definitely a make or break year for him, in my opinion.
I don't know what you're going to get back for him with only 1 year to go on his contract anyway. I just don't think it's worth it. I feel like
it's like Lakin. It's like Lakin. Give him one more year. See what happens.
Well, they restructured Lakin in a weird way, but I don't know. They can get out of it, right? Because right now they're scheduled to pay him like $24 million or some ridiculous.
So, didn't we sign him for 3 or 4 years? Correct. I think in the third year you can. There's something you can do in that third year. It's like with Conklin and Uzama. It's like with Conklin and Uzama.
They did a restructure that I think has some kind of escape plan that we can cut him post June 1st and it won't be too bad of a hit.
It's just like Uzama and Conklin. There's a get out clause. I know that.
Wow.
Right.
Oof. Yeah. His cap hit is $10.8 million this year, and right now in 2024 it's $18.8 million. Yikes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Woof. Yeah, the dead cap hit would be $10 million. Oh boy, that'd be wow.
Yeah.
Thank God the cap's going up next year.
Now there are 3 void years, so you could spread out the hit. There's 3 void. That was the restructure part of it.
Right.
Void year.
Right. And that's what they would do. They would do it post June 1st, and they would $3 million or whatever, 3.5 a year.
I like Chuck Clark though. I love that acquisition. I think he's going to do well. But would you put him over Whitehead or no? Would you go the other way?
I think it's
put him on the other side.
Like I said, I think it's going to be rotational and situational, and I think they're going to disguise who the free safety is a lot of the time. Like if you see, the thing about them is they're all versatile. Whitehead did do a lot of coverage, and he wasn't even that bad. Clark is Mr. Everything. So, and then when Adams is in, I think he's going to be more of the free safety. When you see him in there, you know he's playing the role of free safety. But if you have Whitehead and Clark in there, they're going to disguise it. You don't know who's going to stay back. You don't know who's going to stay in the box. They'll mix and match. They'll do what's just right for the situation, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Green Jeans, Chuck Clark is the best free agent signing so far. He was a trade. He was
a trade.
So we traded
fourth, or was it fifth?
What did we trade for him? We traded like a 7. We traded 7 for that guy.
I thought it was maybe like a.
Oh yeah, we traded 7. Yeah, it was a very, very low draft pick. Yeah.
Apparently, Whitehead wasn't very good if he allowed 4 touchdowns, but Tigo says
Yeah.
Tigo says that he was.
Tigo's very right about some things and very wrong about some
Yeah, I
things. God
guess
bless.
so.
Yeah, it's always a 50-50.
But he will defend them to the end of time. Like he'd
yeah.
have been a great lawyer if he could have controlled himself and know when to, until the judge said, "Shut up."
Facts.
I love you,
Facts.
Tigo, but
Facts.
Yeah.
Reevka, yes,
Great
Clark
guy,
was
though.
traded for a 7. Thank
Great
you.
guy.
I think they really love Adams. I hope they're right. I hope they're really
right too.
I hope they're right about him because
Finding a lineup.
Adams is definitely the guy they see as the true free safety of the team. I think.
Which would be absolutely fantastic because, not everybody
Yes.
on your team can make $10, $15 million a year. And, for a while, we didn't
And
have
if
a
you're
lot
on the
of
Mets,
Oh my gosh, this guy.
Is your team even worth watching with Aaron Judge on the injured list? Just checking.
Yeah. And this is a good point too. Clark could play that spot in the lineup.
Yeah.
The way they mix things up. Clark did that a lot for Baltimore. So
Right.
like when people say we have to replace Quan, part of the solution might be Clark.
I hope so.
yeah, Clark can end up being what Sherwood and Nazeldine was supposed to be.
Well, Sherwood is just that. I think he just excels in the middle, but I don't know that they're not going to give him a shot at the outside. But they certainly didn't give him a shot on the outside last year. Last year, he was solely just the replacement for C.J. Mosley in the middle, the backup.
Yeah. Did you see real quick this morning? NFL Network had on about how ticket sales for the Jets have gone up 400% since last week with Rodgers.
Oh,
they have the bell.
The bell, yeah, ringing the bell.
I caught the end of it, and I was like, "Oh wow, look at all these people getting cured from cancer." Because when you get cured from cancer, you're done with chemo. You ring the bell. I'm like, "What are they doing?" I turned the volume on, and it was Jets ticket sales. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like that's what they do when they do a sale.
Now, lots of companies do things like that.
I know.
Yeah, lots of companies do that nowadays. Yeah, but still, I would have thought the same thing though.
I didn't know the beginning and the pretext of it, and I just saw the bell being rung. I'm like, oh, look, all these people are getting healthy. I turned the volume on, and it's like, oh, Jets ticket sales. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the Rodgers. Kev Chowda, ticket sales up. That's the Rodgers effect. I thought it was because they re-signed Connor McGovern. You think it was Rodgers?
That was when I ran to get my season.
If Rodgers makes less than McGovern.
Don't you love it? Enjoy it while that happens, because they ain't going to happen much longer.
I thought it was only residing Quinnen Williams. Oh, wait, it didn't happen yet. I didn't get him yet.
Okay. Well, you could have said Quincy, and we could have gone with it.
Never mind. It didn't last.
By the way, and just to make sure, it's Quinnen who's becoming a father, or it's Quincy who's becoming a father?
Quinnen's becoming a father.
Okay. So if he leaves to spend time with his child, is he going to get shamed in the media like Becton did? Just
maybe,
asking.
Maybe.
No, that's why he's holding out. Becton wasn't holding out. This is where the asterisks come in.
Okay. Just want to make sure there's no double standard on feet with certain reporters. Thank you.
You put it down with FMLA. It's a life-changing event, so you get the time off.
Quinnen will get his extension. Hey guys, we're going to start wrapping it up. So I want to go around the table so everybody gets a chance to talk about what's coming up for them. I guess we'll start with our special guest tonight, and that is Italy Jet. Where can everyone find you? What you got coming up?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and WhatsApp at Italy Jet. All kinds of stuff coming up with Jets content, baseball, and baseball, soccer as well. But yeah, always 9 to 15 shows a week. I love doing what I'm doing, and I'm just ready to win. But yeah, that's me, Italy Jet.
All right. Nick, I know we got something big coming up on Friday. Why don't you tell everyone about it?
Yeah. Things are going good. We're getting the channel back up and running on Proud New York Jets fans. Friday, we're going to be going from 8 to 10 now on Fridays. This Friday, I have Adam and Jeremy joining. And we have the privilege of my first interview. These gentlemen will be joining me, and we're going to be interviewing Krista Levitas. You guys know her from the Jets tweets about Berrios, this year about Quincy Williams, and then the Jets diehards. So we're going to have her on, We're gonna ask her some questions. 8:30 she comes on, and then we're gonna hang out. So as Grandizer just posted, if you want to see some fun, it's gonna be a good interview. And then, like I said, I got the producer there, so we'll have some cool things. Adam may or may not have some trivia. That's to be determined with his travels. You never know. You gotta tune in. You gotta subscribe. You gotta sub. You gotta sign up for the alerts. So on Friday night, you're hanging out. You don't want to watch baseball. Put the TV on mute and then listen to us. Should be a good time.
Okay, and from New York Sports Worker Media, my co-host Watu-K99. What's going on?
And let me post the Rangers rant just one more time here, just in case anybody else wants to watch it again.
That should be how you close the show, Jeremy. Just let that run for 10 minutes.
Should I just play it?
And that's it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! This would be the best.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna?
Do you want to? I'll give you permission.
Okay, guys, this is why you should.
But you gotta like, but
I-
please subscribe to the channel. All
Hide
right.
the children.
Hold on. Let me.
Oh man.
We could break this down on like a 4-hour. Like I want to break it down like the Zapruder film. I want to watch it from different angles. I want to watch it. We got to pause it. We got to break it down. This is going to be good. If you were at work, don't. It's time to leave.
No.
Yeah, if you were at work, you just watch the rage in his eyes.
Let me know if you can hear it, because I don't see it giving me an option to share sounds. So give me a thumbs
I'm
up.
not sure
or
what I
whatever.
would have to do, but I could go into the video. I could, if you need me to edit anything, I could try. Let's see.
Okay, so you could see it, right?
Yeah, we can see
Yeah.
it. I can't believe this is happening right now.
Oh, it's the best.
Just let me know if you could hear it.
We have a viewing party.
Can't hear it.
Kind
Yeah.
of. Kind of.
Okay,
All right, we gotta mute ourselves.
I got to figure out how to make it share my audio for this. Let's see.
I heard the swoosh come in as it started.
Yeah, I did too.
Did you hear it clearly?
A little. You're just
Okay,
a
let
little.
me know. Here, let me let it go.
Yeah, play it. Let's see.
I'm loud enough where it shouldn't be hard to hear me.
You might have to turn it down.
I know.
Check the volume button next to the timer on the bottom left. No,
Dang it, man.
I could watch it and just enjoy it.
Yeah, closed captioning. It wouldn't be quite the same, but still, it'd be.
You can't hear it?
No.
Okay, wait a second. Let me see if there's a.
How
There's
about
gotta
if
be a way to
I
do
play it from my phone and you have the video?
This is a high production job here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, spur of the moment ideas, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why, because usually I'm able to get it to share the sound. So
I mean, should I try playing it? I have it up. I was gonna say I have it up, but I knew that'd be an opening for Nick.
Literally.
Oh, it says share tab audio.
I
Okay.
have it up on my computer. What if I tried to play it through mine?
Okay, share it on yours, like because you have the share button.
Okay, let me. All right, so let's see. Let me see what I would have to do. So where's the share button? I can't believe we're doing this.
That's what she
I gotta be honest. I've never done this, so I'm not even sure what I'd have to click on.
said. He offered to do it. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I mean I could play it in a different tab. Okay, share. So I hit share on the video, and then what would I do? I could do it, but y'all got to coach me.
You got to say hit the present button on your thing.
Send
There
button.
goes YouTube.
You see where it says present?
Let's see. Yep. Okay, there we go.
Now there might be a share. Like look for a box that allows you to share audio.
Share screen or slides, extra camera, video file.
Well, share screen, and then find it. But it should have like a thing to share sound.
Okay, so yep. So I've got that share tab audio. Oh, yep. This might work.
Okay.
Oh, dear Jesus, please.
All right, let's
Come
what
on.
that.
Come
You
on.
see some of the other videos I watched. Okay. Is that good?
Yes.
Here we go.
Adam, your internet sucks.
Oh, I think he froze. This is such a bummer.
Did he? Yeah, he froze. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the biggest tease of all time.
Did you need me to stop?
Oh,
All
you're
right.
back?
Oh, you're back?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
You froze.
Okay. We'll try one more time. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh, please, Jesus, work.
Welcome back to New York Sports Wicker Media. I'm Watch2K99. And to get right into this right now, as I record, it is the end of the second period.
I know what I'm doing.
The New Jersey Devils lead the New York Rangers 2-0 in Game 7 of the first round Eastern Conference first round series. And the Rangers are well onto their way to one of the most embarrassing, pathetic, putrid, disgusting, horrific defeats that I have seen them have in decades. And that covers a lot of ground. This is a team that loses playoff series in about as heartbreaking a fashion as there is imaginable. Right up there with anybody. No team comes so close and yet never wins the big one. One cup in 83 years. We should have known this was going to happen. We could have seen this coming. After the Rangers went up 2-0 in their series against New Jersey, winning both games in New Jersey, you know, the more experienced team beating the crap out of a young upstart doesn't even know that it's necessary for them to wipe their own pooped up ass. And then they go back to Madison Square Garden. Rangers basically think the freaking series is over. They come back, barely show up. The defense showed up, but the offense and the special teams go to sleep for 2 games. And in Game 4, they didn't even bother to show up. You knew that was over 1 minute into that game when the Devils scored. Game 5, worse, less than a minute in, the Devils score there, and you basically could have turned your TV set off right there. So the Rangers go back to Madison Square Garden. It's Game 6, and you just know they're going to cock tease us. They're just going to tickle our balls just a little bit. That's how they do it. After giving up the first goal, they decided, oh, our season might be coming to an end. We might want to actually play hockey now. And then they absolutely blitzkrieg the Devils like they've always been capable of doing because the Rangers are the more talented hockey team, undisputably, and they beat them up 5-2, setting up Game 7 tonight in just the cesspool of America, Newark, New Jersey. And 30 seconds into this game, you knew the Rangers didn't give a shit about this game. The Devils dominated from pillar to post. Giveaway by the Rangers after giveaway in the neutral zone. Every shot going wide. 3 failed power plays in the first period. 3! This team was all or nothing. The Rangers are a classic bully team. When they're doing well, they'll beat teams into submission with their talent. But when the games get serious and they actually have to play physical and they can't skate around with the ice capades like this and they actually have to play hard, they're a bunch of cowards. And there's another word I want to use. I'm not going to use it here, but it starts with a P. You know what it is. And that's all it's been for decades now. Great goaltending surrounded by shit. Shit is what this team is. Every single one of these skaters can go jump in the Hudson River. Every one of them. I don't care how talented they are. None of them freaking care tonight. Not one. And now you're letting the Devils go on to the second round. Are you kidding me? What a joke. This franchise is a debacle. They've been a debacle for 83 years with one exception. One day in the sun. And that is it. That's it. They're a Broadway team. They show off. They show off their talent. They want to put on a show, but they don't care about playing physical hockey. And that's the only way you win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Finding another gear. Finding your balls. Where the hell did the Rangers leave their balls? At their practice facility? Nobody cared about this game. Nobody showed up outside of Igor Shesterkin. Adam Fox played scared. Patrick Kane, I love him, but he is finished. I see there are senior leagues in America that he would barely be competitive in. Mika Zibanejad, who I thought was becoming one of the top 5 centers in hockey. You couldn't find him except for a few minutes in Game 6. Oh, and the kid line. The kid line. Where are they? Oh, my goodness. We thought a year ago these 3 kids, Hedel, Kako, and Lafreniere. I hope Hedel's enjoying his new contract extension. He should start giving some of the money back. Or donating it to charity. They were getting better and better. We're all talking about the shift in Tampa Bay. Game 1, when they just cycled, controlled the puck, dominated, ending it with a goal. Oh, my God. It looked like one of the top new lines coming up. All these guys hitting their potential. They all had excellent regular seasons, the best regular seasons of their respective careers. There were games that went by, and I didn't even know they were on the ice. They may as well have been playing Jake Lecision, Johnny Brodzinski. You can Wikipedia those guys later. I wish they called them like a Brennan Othman or Adam Sikora. Guys who actually would play with some heart, some gumption, some gallones. I have seen some embarrassing playoff losses, no doubt about it. You know, I can think about Ottawa in 2017, the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals against the Devils again. 2015, the Eastern Conference Finals against Tampa Bay when they put no effort in. Basically the exact same game that this was tonight when they didn't even show up. They didn't care. They didn't care. And that happens too often with the New York Rangers. There is not one other team in the playoffs that gave this little of a shit. Why can't the Rangers have the heart of the Florida Panthers? Where's that? Where's their leadership? Florida upset the best regular season team in the history of the NHL in Boston in 7 games in overtime after being down 3-1. They came back. They showed heart. Where is the Rangers' heart? And I'll tell you right now, there is not a single player I care about keeping anymore. You can keep the goalie. I know that just about all of these players are going to be back because they're under contract. And who's going to want this shit? What franchise wants to take on a bunch of losers? Because that's what they all are. Every single one of them is a loser. To lose to that freaking disgusting team in New Jersey. I wish Carolina all the best. I hope they sweep their ass right out of the playoffs. Because I can't deal with another freaking New Jersey dynasty like I had to live with in the 90s growing up. With all those scumbags and Chico Resch, that bastard. Just crowing about it.
Wait for the politeness at the end.
This makes you sick. You have to balance it out, you know. Things have to change. Big-time players have to be traded. Panarin, he could go, you know, as talented a player as he is, he didn't show up in the playoffs. He's just like Rick Nash. He's just like Marion Gaborik. All these other guys the Rangers have brought in, they never show up in the playoffs. But here's what I think has to happen. Gerard Gallant, he has to go. He has to go. That's it. 2 years, I know. He's a very good coach. He got an expansion Vegas team to the Stanley Cup Finals. I understand it. I get it. He had a very good run, and he's been a good coach for this team. But you know what? This is the second straight playoff series where they choked a 2-0 lead, and there have been too many games where they get completely outworked, out-hustled, and outclassed. And that is on the coach. When everybody shits out the joint like this team did, everyone did, it goes back to the coaching staff. Sweep them all the hell out of here. Hire Peter Laviolette. Hire somebody. Not Bruce Boudreau. He can stay in the studio. But Gallant is just not the right fit for this team. He'll be the right fit for a bunch of other teams, not for the New York Rangers. It's over. It's over. This team needs a drastic change. That was about this year, this freaking year. This is a veteran team. This is not a bunch of 20-something upstarts finding their way along. No, they had to win. At least get back to the conference finals. That was the minimum expectation. And you couldn't win one series. I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. I'm going to have to really reconsider keeping ESPN Plus. I watch just about every game every year. They're not worthy of my time or my emotion right now. Screw all of them. They don't give a shit about the game, about winning a Stanley Cup. Then why should we as fans? And again, for the Devils, go screw yourselves. The Rangers gave you this series. and that's all I have to say about it. Thanks everybody for watching. Probably my angriest video since Max Scherzer, since he sucked against San Diego. I'll see you back here with more content from you know where. Wicker chair.
Wicker chair. It's the chair's fault. That's so good.
I thought it was rather kind looking back now. No.
I know we said our goodbyes.
48 hours.
Wow. That was awesome.
Do we have 2 minutes? Can we just do a quick synopsis of what we just witnessed?
Let's close.
Yeah. I want to first thank you, John Nolte. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you.
I don't.
That's how I feel about my teams, so I get it.
Losing to your arch rival though, it just hurts that much.
It hurts. It hurts so much.
That's the thing with it.
It cuts deep. Cuts really deep.
I respect their talent. I mean, believe me, I respect the Devils' talent, Vervain. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but this was the Devils were not supposed to be ready to win a playoff series yet. Their time was coming, but this was a series the Rangers should have won. Okay, I respect the players on the team now, but the Rangers I felt completely underachieved and handed the series there, and the Devils took advantage of it. Good on them. All right, that's what I'm going to say as far as that goes. But 48 hours later, does it still hurt? Yeah, it still freaking hurts, and it's going to hurt for a long time. So, Rivka, I appreciate your feedback about pinning it. Except which part am I going to put? I gotta figure out how I'm going to do which parts I could put up.
Well, there's a way that on your channel that when people go visit your channel, that video is on top playing automatically.
Okay. Yeah. See, there's so much I still don't know about how all the YouTube stuff.
That was just amazing.
Like I said, people and they love the misery. So
guys,
watching it back is rather surreal. I gotta say, watching me act like that,
I have to tell you, I've never watched hockey stuff. That's my 5th time watching that in completion. I love it more each time because I've missed certain parts, paralyzed in laughter, and now I catch new parts. I don't do roller coasters. I have motion sickness. I don't do them. That's as close to being on a roller coaster as I will ever get watching that video. The ups, the downs, the calms, the anger, the faces, the crazy arm flail that you do at one point. I love that now, like, you're composed. You could tell you were pulling your hair out because you look like Christopher Lloyd in Taxi. Remember the crazy character that he played in Taxi?
Yeah.
You look like hair out to the side, like you were doing this the whole night. You know where to find me. You know where. Wicker chair. Like, I love that you all the chaos that you brought, which is more chaotic than Jeremy's ever been. It's more nuttier than I've ever been. You still had the composure to deliver your sign-off. It's the best thing ever.
What else am I going to do? And I was giving analysis. I was giving history. I was still talking hockey. I just didn't say F everybody. I wasn't going to do that. I was actually talking hockey.
And then you start. I thought you were having like an aneurysm or a seizure. I just realized that you were saying some of the players' names. You're like, and Igor Hasselhoff. I'm like, who's Igor? Igor what? I'm like, oh, that's a player's name.
Yeah,
hockey names.
Russia,
I thought your tongue gave out on you at certain points. Like your tongue was like, I'm out of this.
Please check out your comments on the video. I don't know if I want to look. I know I have a lot. I'm afraid to look, to be honest with you, at some of them because I was getting a feel for them.
Everybody, make sure that you go and subscribe to New York Sportsbook and Media because you get plenty of videos like that when his team loses and plenty of the opposite when they win. I'm
doing Knicks videos as well. After I've been doing short videos even during halftime that are getting a lot of views. I did a thing on why I like the Will McDonald pick. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. This is like as good of a time as there is for New York sports. So yeah, I'm here for it and I'm having a heck of a time doing it, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. I appreciate everybody.
One last comment. Great work, and I'm going to head out. My father wasn't that angry at me when I showed him my report card growing up as a kid. So you've hit new levels of anger that even I've never seen.
Well, that's bad. That'd be bad.
All right. So thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody watching, all the people participating in the chat, all of you that watched the replay. Thank you so much. It's been a great night. Subscribe to these guys. These guys are the best. And we will see you on Friday on Proud New York Proud New York Jets fan.
Yeah,
Hey, Nick,
go subscribe.
Nick,
You're
maybe
gonna
we
do
should
it.
have Krista watch my Rangers rant, see what she thinks. I don't even care if she's not.
Is she a Ranger fan?
I have no idea, and I don't care.
No.
We'll find out. Take care,
I don't want to
everybody.
scare her off. Be good, boys.
Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God, they don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh my God, no edge.
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary, they didn't take Dean, and we traded up. We can get the Kobe Dean. We can get the Kobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. He took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes. We got a Jeremy. We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge